First, Tom Ford f***ed you fabulously. Second, Tom Ford made you lose your cherry. And third, Tom Ford is going to prick you with his rose. Rose prick. It's all about rose prick. I have smelled it. I don't own it yet. It's coming out very soon. Find out all about it here. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Let's get right into this. But if this is your first time tuning in and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, there is a subscribe button below. Also, please click the bell icon so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So yes, Tom Ford's Rose Prick is coming out very soon. In fact, it might be out by the time I get this video up. And I was able to smell it. I won't say where. I'm not going to tell you who. But I was given a quick sniff of a sample from a sales associate that I deal with at one of the stores, and I really enjoyed it, but it smelled like it was not really a rose fragrance, even though there's lots of rose credited here. Although I shouldn't say it's not really a rose fragrance, because I do pick up the rose fragrance, but I also picked up lots of patchouli, and I love patchouli. So hey, I'm in love with this one, and I can't wait for a full bottle. But anyway, this is Rose Prick, launching in 2020, January of 2020. Price and size, I don't have any information on, because all I see online is the 50 ml bottle. Is there going to be 100 ml? Is there going to be a decanter flacon bottle? I don't know yet. We don't know yet, but they weren't able to tell me where I did this sampling, but it is as a 50 ml, and I'm not sure if it's going into their higher price category. It doesn't look like it is, because the bottle and the label looks like it's from the less expensive line, so we shall see. It's considered a Chypre floral. I don't have any perfumer name or anything. And here we have notes taken from Fragrantica. At the top you've got Sichuan pepper and turmeric. In the heart you've got May rose, Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose, three kinds of roses. And then the base you've got patchouli and tonka bean. So not a lot going on with this one. And with my quick little sniff, here's what I got. I got lots of green patchouli with rose in the background. Like it's kind of like a patch rose, a patchouli rose. And even though it's called Rose Prick, and I think they probably, I should say probably like very cleverly came up with this name Rose Prick, but in the end, even though they say they have May rose, Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose, which I'm assuming should be like an ocean of roses, I'm getting a lot more patchouli with this one. A very green patchouli, earthy patchouli, but the green earthy patchouli with like rose thrown in. So that's my first quick impressions with this one. I mean, I like the name Rose Prick. It's very, very clever. It's interesting. It continues in this line of very kind of naughty naming convention for their fragrances. Fucking Fabulous was the first one, and with this fragrance that was launched in 2017 in the fall, I guess it was launched as a what do you call it? It was launched as a limited edition, and then they decided to add it into the main line, but the more expensive line, and this retails for $860 in the large decanter flacon, so it is on the pricier side. And then last year, was it last year? No, it wasn't last year. It was the year before, in 2018, a year after Fucking Fabulous, they did launch Lost Cherry. And Lost Cherry was supposed to come out in the decanter flacon, but then they didn't do it. They decided to do it only in the 50 ml. Later they brought on the 100 ml bottle of the Lost Cherry, but no 250 ml decanter flacon. So even though Lost Cherry is available as 100 ml, but if you factor in decant prices, it's cheaper to buy a decant off or sell a decant off of the 250 ml bottles. So you end up with a less expensive fragrance than Lost Cherry. So compare Fucking Fabulous to Lost Cherry. Even though they're in the high price category, if you buy a 50 ml in the store of either of the fragrances, it's the same price. But the fact that Lost Cherry doesn't have that 250 ml bottle, in the end, it's more expensive for the Lost Cherry 50 ml and 100 ml compared to it in Fucking Fabulous. So with this Rose Prick, even though I'm venturing off in prices, I'm telling you about the pricing categories. I feel like this Rose Prick is going to be in the cheaper line. It just, you can tell from its bottle, it doesn't have the fancier label. So it looks like it's going to be if you buy a 250 ml bottle, which I don't see a 250 ml bottle listed anywhere, it would be around the $630 or $660, somewhere around there. I'm drawing a blank with the names. I haven't bought a large decanter flacon in a few years, so I think prices have gone up lately. But I like the idea of this fragrance. I do want to test it out more. I love patchouli. I love rose. I feel like those are two of my favorite notes in perfumery. I can't get enough of rose. I can't get enough of patchouli. And even though I'm a big fan of rose, I love patchouli probably even a little more. And I feel like patchouli is a little more... I don't know. Patchouli is love and hate, so it's very polarizing smell. And a lot of people actually think of patchouli and they think of like hippies and the 60s and all that kind of stuff, which you should get your nose on patchouli, modern patchouli, and anything that's associated with patchouli, because patchouli is, after all, an earthy note, which is part of the from the same family as the mint herb. So even though you can't eat patchouli, it comes from that same family. And I feel like those of you that hate patchouli, you should give it a chance, because you might end up liking patchouli, even though it sounds like you might not like it, because it has this weird hippie dirty kind of BO association with it. And this one definitely screams more patchouli, even though there's lots of rose in it. I feel like the rose fragrance, I mean the rose notes, are more secondary players with this one, and the patchouli is more amped up. I don't know as far as longevity goes, because it was basically a quick spray, and I enjoyed that spray a lot actually. I enjoyed it a lot, but I do want to play around with it more and perhaps pick up a bottle and just see how this thing performs, because I do like the name. It's clever. I like the idea. I like the idea of the fragrance, as I said, and I like what I smelled with that initial spray, and I'm curious as to how this thing is going to do. Now, if it is going to do well, I'm assuming they'll end up releasing a bigger 250 ml bottle. And again, I haven't seen photos of the 250 ml bottle, and I'm assuming it's not coming out with a 250 ml bottle. But going back to that Lost Cherry, and the Lost Cherry, they had advertised a large decanter flacon bottle, but they decided to do away with it. They only released it as a 50 ml, later upgraded to 100 ml. So let's see what they do. I think they do a lot of market research here. Estee Lauder owned brand, Tom Ford, I'm sure they'll do a lot of that. And they kind of see what demand is out there, I guess, because the fact that they had advertised a decanter flacon for Lost Cherry, later deciding not to release it, was kind of odd, because I really wanted a decanter flacon of the Lost Cherry, because it looked gorgeous. It would look great next to my fucking Fabulous bottle in the large decanter bottle, but they never put it out. So now we've got the Rose Prick. It's in a pinkish reddish bottle, even though it's part of, I think, even though it's going to be part of the Chypre collection, it would be nice to have one. I mean, I collect these bottles and I love the way they look. I mean, they really look great. And a lot of people use these bottles and they fill them up with sand and they use them as bookends. So that's another thing you could do if you ever were collecting these. But I'm excited about Rose Prick. I want to test it out more. I want to do some big sprays, because when you spray from a tiny little spray, you don't get the full experience when you actually spray from a big bottle. Because for me, with samples, I want to experience from a bottle. That's why I don't do samples myself. I don't buy samples. I don't request them. A lot of brands want to send me samples, and I guess for me, it's all about the smell with a sample, but I don't get the full experience. Even though I try out samples, I much prefer to go physically spray a fragrance and see how it is, then decide if I want to buy it. But Tom Ford is one of my favorite brands. I like the idea of this fragrance. I would definitely do blind buy for Tom Ford, even if I have never smelled it, because, you know, it's a hype brand, and it's something that's I think gonna be pretty successful for them. I have this feeling with Rose Prick. Guys, are you familiar with this fragrance? Are you aware that this is coming out, or were you completely not sure about this one? Please do let me know. And also, let me know, have you tried fucking Fabulous? Have you tried Lost Cherry? What do you think about these names? Do you think they're naughty? Of course, fucking Fabulous probably definitely is to a lot of people. But what do you think about Lost Cherry and now Rose Prick? let me know. Put some comments down so we can find out, and hopefully very, very soon after this video airs, I will get to sample and play around with an actual full bottle of Rose Prick and can report back to you about how this fragrance is. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching the video today. If you have any questions or comments, please do let me know. Put a comment down so that I can find out. Also let me know if you haven't sampled Fucking Fabulous or Lost Cherry. Let me know, are you a fan of this house in general? Do you like their private blend collection fragrances? Do you like the fact that they have the less expensive private blend collection fragrances and also the more expensive private blend collection fragrances? What are your thoughts about that? Put some comments down so that I can find out. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.